What's good, everyone? Welcome to my channel. Today, I am in a classroom, and I am not gonna be a teacher, but I am gonna be a teacher. Nah, that was a bar. That was a bar. That was a bar, bro. I can't lie. But what I'm actually gonna be talking to you about today is the idea of being authentic and why you should not be afraid to be authentic. Because from my personal experience in the professional setting, which isn't a lot, but is enough to make this opinion, is a lot of people, well, they're scared of being authentic and being themselves when they're in a professional setting. And that's low key just how the professional setting is, right? Like, you have these barriers such as the clothing that you wear, the speech, you have to be very formal, you have to do stuff that you don't really want to do because you're trying to get that promotion, get that raise or whatever. So you're trying to make this figmented version of yourself that's approachable in the professional setting. And while it's not completely bad because you kind of need that sort of barrier when you're dealing with professional stuff, job related stuff, like let's say you're chatting it up with some dude and you're trying to get a M&A deal and you're like talking to him like, yo bro, we gotta combine these two together, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously you're not gonna do that. But I'm gonna tell you that when you're in those professional settings, if you feel that you can't be yourself, then I don't know what to tell you besides if you're willing to sacrifice that, then I guess, right? Because at the end of the day, people don't really care about being themselves in professional settings because they just care about the money and they care about getting the better. Like if I'm getting paid 500K, I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever. I'll glaze whoever. I'll be the most fitted up person with my buttoned up shirt, my tie, my suit. I'll speak in the formal hello, how are you doing today on this fine morning? You'll do that stuff. But it's like if you care enough about your like authenticity, your being, then the fact that you're going to spend a large majority of your life in a professional workplace, and obviously you'll have these moments where you'll have to be professional when you're doing actual work, when you're in meetings, when you're doing that stuff, right? But even from my experience on the times when people would just chill, like I just didn't feel like I could chill with the people around me because they weren't chilling. They were constantly on edge. They're constantly doing work. They're constantly doing this, doing that. And I had that impression in the beginning, and I thought that it was wrong to be myself because I, by nature, am somewhat informal, right? And this goes beyond just work. This goes into a lot of things like not professional, like academic settings, right? Talking to professors. I still have this weird like voice where my voice gets quieter, it gets more like it sounds like I'm sick. It's kind of just how my voice sounds, but it gets even worse when I'm sort of like either talking to a professor or talking in a class when we're talking about stuff, right? Because there's this sort of barrier that obviously I can't talk how I normally talk with my friends or how I want to talk like I'm talking to you guys because I'm recording in the classroom with nobody in it, right? Like there's these types of speech things that happen that are sometimes subconscious. Like I don't intend not to be or sound nervous when I'm talking in a professional or academic setting, but it happens, right? But that's the problem that I have personally that I don't want to experience when I'm working in a company or somewhere and majority of my day is going to be spent there. I want to talk how I want to talk in the times that it's appropriate because obviously you need to make it so that it's time appropriate, like when you're on break, when you're doing lunch, etc. And I'm making this video because I just want you to know and make you aware if you actually even care. If you don't care about not accountability, authenticity, if you don't care about authenticity, then move on from this video and enjoy your bread, all right? You know, if you can uh, glaze, because I'm not good, I don't know. There's another word, but I'll stay off that for now. But if you want to glaze your way up through networking, which I also have some issues with, but honestly, networking is integral if you want to compete in the job market. But glazing your way up and you don't care about being authentic, right? Because maybe you say like, oh, I can be authentic with my family or my friends, my etc. So why would I care about academic or professional things? Then be my guest. Enjoy your life. You got it better than me because I do care about that. And if I have to sacrifice some things to be authentic, then I will. But I will tell you that I am not perfect. And if the money comes and if times get tough, obviously I'm gonna have to, I don't know, bite the bullet of being a fake version of myself or a version of myself that isn't 100% true, which I guess is almost always the case, right? Because you're never 100% true to anyone except yourself. But that's a different topic, all right? Now I'm just going on tangents on tangents on tangents. And this is a math class, so we're not going to talk about those tangents. But the main takeaway from this video is to make you aware and just think, how much do I care about being authentic, and should I find a setting that allows me or makes me feel that I can be my true self and speak the way that I truly want when it's time appropriate. That's all. If you guys want me to make more recordings in these classrooms, because honestly, if I could, I can find empty classrooms and record and make my consistent schedule more consistent, let me know. Because I obviously don't have the urge to record at home. So I'm recording here because I had the brilliant idea. Peace out.